Wellness Channel with Waihiga. I am Waihiga. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. If this is your first time here, welcome. I hope that you stick around and take a listen to what I have to share. So today I got a question from one of my subscribers, and you were asking, how do you handle sobriety? The ups, the downs, the good, the bad times. How do you handle boredom in sobriety? And today I'm going to answer that question. So I am 5 years and 4 months sober by the grace of God. And sobriety, recovery is nothing easy at all. I can tell you for free, it is not easy. I thought that when I got sober, my life would get better, that instantaneously everything would become better, that I would become richer, that I would go back to school, graduate, get a job, be in a perfect relationship, get married, have kids, live in a house and all that stuff. But as we know, that is not how recovery or sobriety works. Becoming sober means that you have to take an active role in your sobriety. It means that your life is full of service, your life is full of fellowship, your life is full of working with a sponsor. I have to be active in a 12-step program every single day because I drank every day, and because this disease of alcoholism is in me every single day. So every day I try to make a meeting. Every day I try to make a meeting. Every day I pray to God and I ask God to grant me serenity, to grant me peace of mind, and to grant me sobriety just for that day. Sometimes I do forget. The point is to surrender your will and your life over to the care of a higher power. So in early sobriety, I'd say the first few months, I was just really happy to be sober, to wake up without a hangover, to know where I slept the night before, to know what I did yesterday, to know who I was with, to know that I didn't have to lie to my parents, to know that I didn't have to lie to my family, to know that I was able to keep a phone on me. I was able to wake up with money on me. I was able to wake up and not have embarrassing flashbacks coming out of a blackout in God knows where. The first few months of sobriety were definitely a pink cloud, we call it. Just waking up and the sun is shining and the rainbows and the unicorns and everything is out, and the birds are chirping. But after that, I definitely crashed, in the sense that you're beginning to live life on life's terms. And when you asked about life getting boring, I completely relate to what you're saying, because it did reach a point in time in my sobriety where I felt like I was becoming someone that I was not. I started enjoying the more mundane things. I started enjoying my life being predictable. I started enjoying being in the house on a Friday night, on a Saturday night at 7 p.m. I enjoyed being in bed by 8 p.m. I enjoyed waking up at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. the next day, not having any hangovers. So I started playing the role of a good girl. And I didn't understand this persona. I thought I was acting. I thought that I was playing a person that I was not, because for the longest time I was a bad girl. These voices in my head kept telling me that I'm bad to the core. You should be out there. You should be out there. This is not who you are, Waihiga. You should be out there in a club, manipulating, lying, hustling for drinks, dancing, and getting left behind in a club. That's what you should be doing, and trying to find your way back home. So for a couple of months I wrestled with myself, because I didn't understand the woman I was becoming from the girl that I had been for so long. And I finally got to the point where I embraced myself. I embraced my new life, and I embraced the life that sobriety was giving me, which was a mundane, predictable life, where my activities were going out to the forest. We have a forest here called Karura Forest, and I would just go walking in the forest, and that to me was fun. Exercising is fun. Going swimming is fun during the day. Going on coffee dates, going out to restaurants, going to malls, going to shopping, going to movies was fun. Hanging out with other sober people, like-minded people, was fun to me. And then when dusk or nightfall started to fall, I would start to get panicky because I didn't like the feeling of being outside and it's dark. I didn't like that feeling at all because I wanted to be indoors. I wanted to be safe. I wanted to be in the house. And I had to just stop fighting, basically, and embrace the new boring me. And that's who I became, and I absolutely love that person now. I also once heard in a meeting that if you have a boring life as a sober person, then you're a boring person. And to me, that sounded really harsh at the time. And I was like, ooh, that stings. But if you're in a 12-step program, you know how we addicts and we alcoholics talk to each other. There's something about the way we talk to each other until the penny drops and you get it. And once the penny dropped and I understood what that person was saying, it wasn't out of malice. It was out of logical sense. If my life is boring, if I find my life boring, then I'm the boring one. Nobody is responsible for my life. Nobody is coming into my life to make my life exciting. That is where I come into very big problems. When I go outside of myself to look for excitement, that is when I end up in very, very big problems. Whether it's in a man, whether it's in drink, whether it's in clubbing, whether it's in expensive shopping, whatever it is I'm looking for, if I'm looking for excitement outside of myself, I always find myself in problems. If I'm bored with my own life, it's my responsibility and solely my responsibility to make my own life exciting. You are the one now who has to design and make those boundaries for yourself. That is what sobriety has afforded all of us. If we're lucky enough to be sober, we can redesign our lives. We give our sobriety and our lives to God, and we get a new life in return. We can redesign our lives. And so for me, taking an hour or 2 hour walk for me is fun. Going swimming and being in the ocean or something like that is something that I consider fun if I'm able to do that once a year. If going to a restaurant, eating delicious food for me is fun. Sitting and listening to an enjoyable speaker tape for me is fun. Hanging out with family is fun and enjoyable. So don't think of these grandiose plans like I need to book a 2-week vacation in Paris to have fun. That's not what fun is. Or I need to have this type of man in my life, or I need to have this type of people in my life so that I can have fun. That's when I think that we end up in problems. Looking for outside people, looking for outside things, going to outside places, looking for fun, romance, and excitement. That is what gets us into trouble. So look at your life. Maybe it could be a picnic at the park. Maybe it could be fellowship after church. Maybe it could be service. Ask yourself, am I doing service? In our 12-step programs, we all are held together by the unity, service, and the fellowship of the program. So ask yourself, am I sponsoring anyone? Because sponsorship is a huge part of our recovery. So if you're sponsoring someone, those sponsees will really keep you busy. Am I offering to make the coffee in meetings? Am I helping another alcoholic or an addict that comes after me? Even if you have just 24 hours sober or 1 day sober, you have something that another alcoholic or an addict does not have, which is 24 hours of relief and sobriety. That can definitely help someone else, because you are able to tell them what you did for 24 hours in which you were able to stay sober. So I think service plays a big role in getting out of that boredom. And another question that you asked is how to maintain sobriety in the ups and downs of sobriety. I understand that question. I think sticking close to the fellowship, because when we get excited, we want to drink. When we get in celebratory moods, we want to drink. When it's Christmas, when it's Easter, when it's graduation, we want to drink. We want to get into that spirit of celebration, and we want to drink. When we're depressed, when we're low, when things are going bad, we also want to drink. So there's definitely the ups and the downs. Particularly for me, as an alcoholic, I wanted to drink no matter what. It didn't matter if we were celebrating my graduation, your graduation, his graduation, your Christmas, Jesus's Christmas. It didn't matter if it was New Year's, if it was a random Monday. I wanted to drink, you know. It's definitely about sticking close to the program and about learning to unlearn the behaviors that we've done in the past. And for me, alcoholism or turning to alcohol was my default. It was my default. That's what I did. That's what I did all the time. I turned to alcohol, whether things were good or whether things were bad. But now in sobriety, we're being taught, and hopefully you're in a 12-step program, we're being taught that when things are good, when things are bad, when things are normal, when things are just mundane and boring, to turn to the 12-step program. And that's why I say a meeting a day keeps the cravings away. And I think that's what I say that personally. I say that because that helped me. And so attending meetings, I think, definitely helps with the yo-yo effect. And I'd be curious to know if you're doing step work, because step work definitely helps take away the mental obsession and the physical cravings for alcohol. Definitely have to get through the steps from 1 to 12 chronologically with your sponsor. For me, the step work definitely helped me get rid of those cravings. Miraculously, they were taken from me in my first 18 months of sobriety, and they've never come back. Thank God. Those cravings were just so merciless. Wow, they were so bad. They were so bad. But definitely to help with that yo-yo effect in sobriety, because there definitely those days or months when I'm in a happy place or everybody's celebrating, it's the holidays, and those are the days I really need to be in meetings like a crazy person, because especially things like Christmas, my guard comes down, and I need to really be close to the program. And also those days when I am really depressed or restless, irritable, and discontent, I need to be in a meeting and I need to be sharing about it. Otherwise, my default setting is to go back and drink. That doesn't go away. You know, that type of thinking, that type of wiring doesn't go away. So while alcoholism is manageable, it isn't curable. I would really urge you to stick to a 12-step program and really get into meetings, especially for those up and down seasons, and just get comfortable with being in meetings and sharing. Honestly, it's just the way of life. It's just the way of life for us. We're addicts, we're alcoholics. This is a way of taking our medicine. In the morning, in the evening, whichever time of day or night you want to take your medicine, a meeting is one of those ways. I hope this video helped you. I hope this video helped many of you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll continue to answer your questions in the next week. Till next time, bye-bye.